Hi guys, it's Tana Mojo. Welcome back to a brand new story time because I'm a story time YouTuber now. I've been so busy recently, traveling a bunch. I'm also really fucking stressed out. I've been doing a lot of shit. But that's besides the point. That I forgot I had a YouTube channel, and now I have a story to tell that's 4 weeks late. So hi. So about 4 weeks ago when I was traveling, there's this one day in particular where I got a lot of shit done. And mind you, I still need to get a lot of shit done. But that's besides the point. Okay, so I got a lot of shit done, and by the end of the day, I was feeling a little empty. Was I doing productive stuff? Of course. But I was feeling empty, in the chest area. Okay, a girl was going through some heartbreak. I got out of my first ever very serious relationship. I wanted to marry a very obvious fuckboy, which I knew he was a fuckboy when we started talking. He would refer to other women as bitches, and he would come to me for advice about women. He'd be like, yeah, I need another bitch's advice. He's one of those fuckboys that's yeah, let's go to the bathroom to hit a jewel. I have 12 bitches in my DMs right now. You know what I mean? One of those snobby rich white typical fuckboys that are just really annoying. Do you know what I mean? But then when I fell for him, that perspective kind of just disappeared. And I also want to add on to our relationship, just talk about how it ended briefly, and also talk about the kind of person he was. Such a prick. I remember the first time he made my jaw genuinely drop out of fucking shock was when I was telling him how much I fucking love hot Cheetos. That's my favorite snack. And he was ugh, imagine eating fucking poor people food. Get that ghetto poor people food out of my just, oh my god, such a prick. This dude had maids. He was just such a spoiled brat, and he was also really shitty to me in general. Now don't get me wrong, did we both do our wrongdoings? Of course, any relationship, but he would take shit too far. He did some shit not too long ago, after literally a day after a breakup, that's just really fucked up. For example, there is this creep that was stalking me and creeping me out and being weird in the DMs, and me and my ex, agreed that it was fucking weird, and so my ex cut him off because dude, I'm his girl, you're being creepy, that's fucking weird, you're fucking stalking me. And the second we break up, which this happened in the beginning of our relationship, so almost a whole year later, the day after we break up, he's being buddy with the creep that was stalking me and being weird in my DMs, and now he's buddy with people he apparently hated, but because they're friends with me, he's just fucking being friends with them all of a sudden. Just shitty, spiteful, hurtful. Obviously I'm not a dude, and males typically don't deal with creepy behavior, but I know for a fact, because of how fucking loyal and how hard I love a person, even if they're my ex, I don't give a fuck if they're my ex. If I was in his shoes, alright, and I had a boyfriend or a girlfriend, which I'm not bi, but I'm just using this as an example. If I had a relationship and my partner had a creep in their DMs and it was just very uncomfortable and weird, if we broke up a year later, you're not gonna catch me in the creep's DMs well, my relationship ended, wanna be friends, creepy dude? What? It's just, I hope you understand the kind of person I'm talking about, the kind of person we're dealing with here. And before I get crucified, just know that they weren't even good friends. They didn't even talk, they never voice chatted ever. It was just some acquaintance that they knew on YouTube, and it just happened to be a really fucking creepy guy. That's literally it. It's not I was trying to ruin a friendship or get in between them. And besides, even if it was a friend of his, which it wasn't, he's creeping your girl out, you think it's creepy as well, then suddenly you break up a year later, oh, let's be fucking best friends, creepy dude. What? And how our relationship ended was really sick. He started getting distant from me, and if you're gonna get distant, just own up to it and be yo, I'm not interested, or I'm losing interest, blah blah blah. But he wouldn't, and I was catching on. I was okay, you're being way too distant. I've waited a month for you to even call me on the phone. That's a long, a month long of someone you deeply love and care about not hitting you up or doing anything. That's a little too long. You're cheating on me or something's happening. And he would just completely deny it and be no, I love you so much, blah blah blah, I love you so much. What, just some fucking bullshit. So I would start asking him some very bold questions, do you still feel I'm your soulmate, all that fucking gay foo-foo shit. And he would be yeah, 100%, literally leading me on. He said that the day before he fucking left me. And it's just insane that someone could lie so much, compulsive liar, and just lie so so blatantly throughout your relationship. You lead them on for like 2 or 3 months and then you fucking dump them. Like, excuse me? And to give you context, I kept confronting him about it because I confront you in a relationship because, like, you're my person, you know what I mean? And if you're getting distant, you have to be honest with me. Like, duh. I'm not gonna sit there and, like, take it. Like, oh, you're never gonna call me for 3 months? Like, cool. No, I'm gonna, like, try to communicate with you, you know? And he would just lead me on and tell me a bunch of lies, and I was just not having it. Again, I may be repeating myself, but please understand, I'm trying to emphasize, he had so many chances for months. Like, I would literally confront him like, dude, please be honest with me. I know you're capping. Like, just tell me if you don't like, let me move on if you don't like me. And he was like, no, not at all. Like, it was such a train wreck of a relationship, and I deeply loved and cared about this person, and it fucking hurt, and it put me in a hospital, and I could just go the fuck on. It was terrible. Like I said, did I do some wrongdoings as well? Of fucking course. But I would never in a million years, like, go back to, like, the creepy dude that creeped out my partner the day after, like, we break. Like, that's weird. Like, who does that? Like, I don't care what we did in our relationship. Like, you're an ex, cool. But, like, who just runs back to the guys that they fucking blocked or, like, got rid of because they were being creeps to their ex? Like, regardless of being exes or not, I was your girl. And, like, you're gonna... I can't. I'm sorry for repeating myself, but now that you have that context, I don't know why I fell for it, but I fell hard, and I got out that relationship recently, like a couple months ago, and I was still feeling like I belonged to that person, this person that, like, I have not spoken to for months. Like, my heart was with him, and I constantly felt horrible. Well, it was horrible for the first few weeks, but you know what I mean? Like, I just had that empty feeling, you know? And sometimes you just need to get with another person to make that go away or just to alleviate it so that you can move forward. And so that's what I did. I remember, like, a couple years ago when I was in high school that I would always think to myself that people that would just jump into another relationship, like, the day after, like, very quickly, like, I always thought to myself, like, how obnoxious is that? Like, was it fake? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, that used to piss me off. But now that I'm an adult, well, kind of, I'm still a teenager, I'm, like, kind of transitioning into adulthood, but now that I'm an adult, my perspective on that has kind of changed. Like, I didn't, like, jump to another relationship or hook up with anyone or do anything at all after it ended. I was just kind of, like, sad. I was like, damn. But after some months of not speaking to them and you still feel like they have your heart, like, that's when you need to do something about it. So hanging out with friends and being productive, and I have, like, a list of shit to do that's, like, really important that I need to get done. I don't even know why I'm fucking recording this right now, but hi, YouTube. But anyways, back to the point, like, doing productive shit sometimes just doesn't work. So if you need to, I don't know, talk to someone new to help you get over it, I think that's totally fine. So I installed Tinder for the first time, and I thought it was really weird. Like, apps like that were always, like, weird and unnatural to me, but as I got older, I kind of, like, I don't know, feels a little less weird. I install it for a week, I casually talk to some people on there, and I find this one person that I'm interested in, like, hanging out with. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, cool. So I guess that's gonna happen. And after a long productive day, it's like really late at night. I'm talking like 12 a.m. Like, it's real late. We decide to hang out, and at that point, I had not even been back at the house that I was staying at. I literally didn't even, like, step foot in it. Like, I have just been out doing a lot of productive things, like, hour by hour. So I'm exhausted, but I'm like, you know what? Let me just go on this little, how do I put this? Date. No, I usually don't read YouTube comments, but, like, I'm already getting flashbacks to, like, Luna when he would tell his, like, awkward stories with other people, and I am not trying to do that. So anyways, so it's like 12 a.m. and this guy picks me up and he decides that he wants to get high before our date. So he goes to a dispensary. Now, I'm underage. I can't even step foot in a dispensary. So this was my first date, or I don't know how to put this, like, a guy that I was with that was, like, a grown man. Like, I've always dated other teenagers, and my ex is also 19, and I was just like, oh, this feels like kind of an upgrade. So I was really happy about it. Like, it kind of is helping me finally transition into adulthood. Like, okay, now all of a sudden I'm gonna be 20 soon, so I need to get used to talking to people that are like older. Yeah, instead of other 19 and 20-year-olds because they're very immature. You know what? I need to stop going on tangents about my thoughts. I need to tell this story. I apologize. So, with that being said, I'm underage. I can't step foot in, so he goes and he gets some edibles and he gets the strongest fucking cart. And it's not even what he wanted. Like, it was because I asked for the strongest one they had, like an idiot. So, like, all these other carts are like, well, like 95% THC or something, but it's smooth and has flavor. But I wanted the strongest one for this night. I don't know why. And it's not flavored and it was so not smooth. You like cough really bad. Like, even people that are experienced or smoke regularly cough really fucking bad, because this one was like 99% or something, and it was just really gross. But it gets the job done. But like, still, maybe I'm just so used to the flavored shit, but that's besides the point. It was harsh, and they were like, you do realize you could get something smoother and you're gonna get the same high. And the guy that I was with was like, yeah, she doesn't care. So just get the strongest one. And that's what we ended up getting. And of course, we got a bag of edibles. So at this point, I have to give you some context before I tell you how much of a fucking idiot that I was that night. So with that being said, I didn't understand tolerance, okay? Because I live most of my life very sober. I don't feel the need to like, yeah, like, let me get high, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care. And on top of that, like, when I wanted to experiment when I was in high school, that didn't go very well. Like, for example, I never had a proper edible. So there's this one girl at my old high school that would like sell edibles, like brownies, but like she would put like a bud, like stems and everything, like in the brownie. And like, I remember I took a bite out of like my first one. I was like, oh wow, that's so cool or whatever, right? Like, it's so quirky. Like, I'm a freshman. Like, I just got my first brownie. And I like took out a bud and I was like, dude, you could literally smoke this. Like, did she make this right? And like, my friends that were sitting next to me were just like, just eat it. Like, you're like such a pussy. And I'm like, this is like not edible. Like, it's actually really gross. So that being said, like, this moment was the first time I actually had like a legitimate edible. I was so inexperienced, and tolerance like was just not a thing that I even thought about. So with that being said, I take 2 edibles. And my date takes like 1 because he's not an idiot. And we smoke a little and he takes like 3 hits and he's good. I decided to take like probably 30, like if, I don't know, like at minimum, I don't really remember, but I know that I was doing it consistently and a lot. You know what's like fucked up to think about is he could have just been like, yo, you might be doing a little too much. Like, I think he probably thought I had a high tolerance or something. I really didn't. Oh yeah, she wants the strongest card apparently. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I set myself up for disaster pretty much. So like I said, my first time having a legitimate edible, and instead of taking 1 or like half like a normal beginner, I obviously have to take 2 and then smoke a lot. So, you know, we've I don't know how to put this. Our date ends, okay? And at this point, it's like 1 a.m, and he drops me off at this house, and I'm in this really white neighborhood, and you have to like type in a passcode to get through the door. And I knew the passcode, okay? It worked. It went green. But the problem was the bottom lock was locked, so the door just would not open, and the people that lived at that house were out. And I was like, what? They were always inside. Like, what do you mean they're out and about at 1 a.m? So they tell me that they're gonna be back in 30 minutes, which wasn't true. They came back like an hour later, like an hour and a half, so it was like 2:30 a.m. or something by the time they got there. But that's besides the point, okay? I was pretty much just stuck chilling, just standing outside of this house in a white neighborhood, and I was really high, but the edibles, oh no, they did not hit just yet. Oh no. So fans, or I don't know, friends that know me personally, you guys know that my phone is never charged. Like, I just never, I don't know, it's just never at 100%. It's either 20% or less. So my phone's at 5%. I'm like, shit, like, I have nothing to entertain me. Like, I have to use my percentage wisely. But after smoking the strongest fucking cart, store at a dispensary, you're a little high. So I was getting the munchies, and I decided to use my 5% phone to order DoorDash. Even though I was like locked out the house, I was like, you know what, I'll just tell the girl I'm locked out. I want McDonald's. It's like the only thing available on DoorDash at like 1 a.m. So I order a Big Mac, 2 large fries, a Sprite, and 10 chicken nuggets. I don't know why I thought that I could eat all of this, and I don't know why I ended up eating all of it, but that's besides the point. I order all of that, and I turn my phone off to save the battery so I know when the Dasher is arriving, and I'm just standing there, and I'm really fucking stoned. I'm hungry, you know, I've been waiting a little bit, and I cannot stop thinking about eating. So you know what I have on me? You know what I have on me? The bag of edibles. The bag of edibles. And do you know what I decide to do? Just take a wild guess. Just type in the comments right now. What do you think little Ashley decides to do? I hate saying Ashley. My name's Ash, by the way. It's not Ashley, but that's besides the point. What do you think little Ash does? She eats 3 edibles. Just casually. And you know what's weird is that the bag, like, it's obviously edible. It's like, you know, it's advertised as that. But it didn't cross my mind. Because I was so hungry and focused on food, to me, it was just like eating food. It didn't cross my, like, I knew it was an edible. Obviously, it's in the packaging, but it didn't cross my mind. I just ate it. I ate 3. And this is where the nightmare begins. 11 minutes in, and you thought that the story was already started? No. The story has not started yet. Oh my god, was this the worst night of my life? Oh my god. So originally, the 2 edibles that I took on my date finally kicks in, and like when it hits you, you know, you don't really realize it at first, but then you realize it. You know what I'm trying to say? So I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, ooh, like it just hit, but you know, whatever, it's fine. And by the time it hit, my fucking Dasher came, and I walk up to her like a zombie for the food, and I'm like, yo, I got locked out. I don't know why I decided to tell her that. I just thought maybe it was weird, like I was waiting outside for the food when that's not true. She was like, oh, you got locked out, girl? Okay. She just hands me the food and like leaves. And I'm just like standing there and I'm eating my fucking Big Mac, okay? I go for the Big Mac first. I don't know why. Like, I could have saved that for later, like when I'm inside and I can eat it properly, but I could have went for the chicken nuggets, okay? I didn't. So I eat my Big Mac. At this point, I had taken 5 edibles. I'm a beginner. This is my first time taking edibles. And I took 5! But the 3 that I just ate didn't really hit yet, though. So, you know, it was okay. I thought it was fine. I was just out there waiting for the people that live there to come back and unlock the door for me so I could go and relax, because I had a very productive day. I did a lot. I was out and about for like 12 hours straight. You know, I wanted to sleep. So when I was in high school, if I were to experiment with any drugs, which I kind of didn't, like I tried a really shitty brownie, which it really wasn't. It was just made completely incorrect. You guys get it. But, you know, I would do some research, and it'd always say, like, oh, like, fucking marijuana could cause, like, hallucinations, or, like, you could feel nauseous or dizzy, like, stuff like that. And I was like, that's weird, because every time that I would get high, all that would happen is, oh, I would just focus a little better, you know, just a little buzz. Like, you know, it's not a big deal. So I always thought that, oh, because, like, the states were so against marijuana that, like, they're just saying that, like, obviously you can't hallucinate from it, right? I was so stupid to have thought that. Because what, I got a little high? Oh no, you can't hallucinate. And another thing that can happen is getting paranoid. You'll hear a lot about that soon. Oh god. So I didn't think, maybe like 3 or 4 kicked in by that point, but I didn't really notice. I don't know how many edibles you have to take or how much you have to smoke in order to like see something you probably shouldn't. I don't know how much was digested at this point, but I don't know. I hallucinated a faceless woman. And now listen, marijuana is not like what's a drug I can compare it to? Like LSD. Like, oh my god, I'm seeing like rainbows and like butterflies. Like, it's not like that at all. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like you might see something, like the hallucinations, at least from my experience, is almost like natural. It's unnatural, obviously, but it's definitely like not vibrant and colorful. It like blends in, and like it makes you question, like, is that real? You know what I mean? Like it's a very big difference. So don't think it was like, oh my god, like so trippy. Like I don't know. I hallucinated like one thing. So I'm standing here eating my Big Mac, and I look at this house across from me, and there's like a window, and like there's the blinds of the window, or like, I don't know what it was. I think it was blinds, and it was kind of like off to the side because there was a faceless woman just there. And you know what's weird is I was freaking out mentally, like, in my head, but like on the outside I was just eating a Big Mac. So I was like staring at this faceless woman, and just some shit started going through my mind. First of all, I was weirded out. I was like, wait a minute, is that a faceless woman looking at me? So I walk around this car, like I'm in the driveway just like chilling there, you know, like eating the Big Mac. So I walk around the car to see, like, I don't know, just walking, like, and just staring at it, and this faceless woman would like turn her head anywhere I went. So it looked very realistic. Like she had hair, like everything was very realistic. She had something pink that she was wearing. She had bangs. She was a brunette girl, but there was just no face. She had a head, but where's the fucking face? I don't know. So, but every time I would walk like to the left or to the right or around this car that I was standing next to, her head would like follow me, and I was really creeped out. And there was some stuff going through my head. So these were some possibilities that I was thinking of. One, I'm too high, but like that was a possibility I didn't think too much of because the other two possibilities were more like realistic in my head. Two, it's Washington State, and it's really fucking creepy, and weird paranormal shit apparently happens there all the time. Now listen, I tend not to believe in that kind of stuff, but if you were in my shoes and you were a skeptic like me, like what would you think? Okay, I've watched a lot of Chills videos, okay, and like you never know, I don't know, like I'm open-minded to the idea that this stuff can be real. It's really hard for me to believe without like some solid evidence. So with that being said, I'm like looking and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm in like the scary ass state or something where it's like #1 for like serial killers apparently, and like a lot of paranormal stuff and aliens and UFOs that like are all around like Oregon, Washington, California. And like, what if this is just like a real thing? Like apparently Bigfoot lives here. Like what if faceless women also exist here? Like it's just like a normal thing to see paranormal stuff. What if that house is haunted and like I'm just looking at something? Or what if it's like a creature, like a real faceless woman, and I'm just like fucking staring at her? And it was, I cannot express enough, it was so realistic. It was no different than a real like woman with a face like looking at you through a window. You know what I mean? Like the details were perfect. This bitch had a necklace, like clothes on, like I could see it all. Like I don't know, it looked so fucking real. It blew my mind. So I was like, holy shit, like, and her head is like following me, and like the blinds that are like moved out the way for her to like look through the window was like moved perfectly. Like it all, like it was like real life. Okay, so now I'm getting mindfucked. Like was it real? Like was I so high that like I missed out on a very real experience? Like I could have recorded it or something. Like I don't know, like what if it was fucking real? And thirdly, which this theory in my head while I was staring at this faceless woman eating my Big Mac really made me paranoid. I was like, okay, wait a minute, what if this is a real woman and for whatever reason I can't see her I don't know, like maybe I'm so high I can't see her face just is gone, I don't know, but like what if it was a real woman, okay, and she's freaked out that I'm in this white ass neighborhood and I'm just like standing outside their neighbor's house. I'm just standing there eating a Big Mac. Like what if she's just watching me, and the reason she's watching me like go left and right and going around the car a little bit and like her head is following me is because she's keeping an eye on me. So the second I turn away, she's gonna call the fucking police because I'm just like, I'm a weirdo like in a very white neighborhood where you have to like type a passcode to get in the house, and I'm just eating a Big Mac, and she's just there like, all right, this is weird, there's a tweaker outside, gotta call the police. But she was not, like, there was no phone, there was like, she was just staring at me. So I was like, okay, maybe this is like a fucking staring contest. Like, bitch, I do belong here, call the police, watch me all goddamn night long. Like I was just eating my Big Mac while the sassy part of me in my head is saying that to her, okay? And I'm just fucking staring at this faceless woman. And the more I think about it, the more paranoid I get. Like, holy shit, the cops are gonna come here, and I'm underage, and like, I could go to jail. Like, what is happening? Like, I don't know. A lot was just going through my head, and I was really paranoid. And then the fourth theory in my head was that, is this like a side effect? Like, am I too high? But then also, once I would think that, that thought would just go away immediately. Like, me being too high was just like not a thought in my head. Like, my brain could not process that for some reason, so I would just black out that theory. So I was pretty much torn between the second theory and the third. Okay, I didn't know which one it was. I was genuinely confused, and I would keep eating, and with every bite that I would take, I would like take a step this way and that way, and her head would just keep turning, and I was like, holy shit, I'm staring at a faceless woman. And I did want to record it, but I just remember, like, I was so high that, like, my hand movements and even, like, walking was, like, I was in space. Like, I literally was moving like an astronaut, and so I just couldn't find the energy to whip my phone out. I don't know why. My phone was just, like, on the car, and I don't know. I just wanted to eat my Big Mac. So, that being said, I was just freaked the fuck out. And plus, I was scared. Like, what if I just go to unlock my phone, right? And then I look, and she's gone. Like, this bitch just went and called the police or something. Like, I was scared. Like, in my head, I was so paranoid that I was like, wait a minute. If theory number 3 is correct, I have to stare her down so that she doesn't call the police, because this girl is not taking her eyes off me, and neither am I. Wait a minute. What eyes, though? Okay, she's not taking her head away from me. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm sorry. Look, she didn't have eyes, okay? She didn't have a face. But you get what I'm trying to say. She would not stop, like, turning her head in my direction. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna just stand here and eat my Big Mac, literally terrified. And then the fifth thing in my head popped up that, like, I'm gonna die. Like, this is paranormal. Like, I'm gonna turn around and there's gonna be another faceless woman behind me. So I start getting paranoid and I start looking around, but I also have to keep my eye on the window. So I'm, like, scared to, like, look around too much, and I don't know, it was just a horrible night full of paranoia because I was staring at a faceless woman that probably didn't exist, to be honest with you. Like, if you can get really high and you start to see something that you shouldn't, like, maybe, just maybe it's because you're too high. Like, I don't know, but then again, it is a creepy state that's known for paranormal stuff, so I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Tell me in the comments if I'm just overthinking it and I'm just still freaked out to this day because I can, like, remember vividly what she looked like and how realistic it was. Like, maybe I'm just paranoid, like I was just too high, and that's like the most logical explanation to this faceless woman. So the people that live at the house arrive and they finally unlock the door for me, but then they tell me the bottom lock was unlocked, and I was like, no. Trust me, I literally tried my hardest to get in. Like, trust me, it was locked. And then apparently some of the other people that were living in there, like, suddenly woke up and it was just unlocked. But, like, why would they unlock the door? And also they were telling me that the place is haunted and they had, like, videos of orbs and stuff in there. So I was like, did a fucking ghost or something paranormal, like, lock it and then unlock it? Like, I'm very confused. But, you know, that's a far stretch. Like I said, I'm a skeptic, but, like, they believe in that stuff. Like, they have weird stuff happen at that house. So apparently someone died there. I don't really know. So basically, like, they're used to it and I'm just freaked out, but I'm like, you know what, whatever. I go upstairs and I still didn't finish my food, so I finished the rest of my food. I drink all of my Sprite and my mouth becomes very dry, like extremely dry. And but I didn't care. Like, did I think to get some water? No, because I've never taken edibles before and I didn't really know better, and I didn't know that cotton mouth was a fucking thing because I am that inexperienced. Yes, I literally don't do shit. So I'm just chilling there and I put on a Charlie Gold video, okay? And I don't know, she's some, like, weight loss YouTuber, and I just like to hear her opinion on weight loss or her reactions to, like, other like, eating channels. So, you know, she was just in my recommended because I've been watching her recently, so I was like, you know what, I'll just put this on. So I put on my Charlie Gold video and it's on my phone and I'm, like, charging my phone. It can finally, like, rest, and I was getting, like, entertained finally after waiting for, like, hours. Well, it felt like hours. It was like, was it hours? No, it was like an hour and a half, okay, of hell. And all of a sudden, while watching it, I'm, like, spacing out. Like, I'm just staring at the wall, and I don't even realize it or notice. Like, I don't think that, hey, Ash, you're staring at a wall and not the YouTube video. But, like, I vividly remember that, like, it started getting blurry. And, like, my phone and, like, just everything I was trying to focus on just got blurry. and I was starting to get dizzy. And I mean real dizzy. I thought, and maybe it did happen, I don't know how this works, but I was able to control my body with my eyes, and I kept saying that out loud to myself. So I would look left and my entire body would like lean left, and I would make sure like I wouldn't turn my head or anything. I would literally just look with my eyes, and anywhere that I would look, I would just start like my body would just kind of like wobble that way, or like, and I was sitting on an air mattress, so that was like weird. So I decided to test it out like a fool because I thought it was kind of fun at first. It was not fun, mind you. Like over time, it was not fun. But at first, I was like, whoa, man, I can control my body with my eyes. Like, yeah. So I decided to look like all around me. Like my eyes were just going in circles and my body was just wobbling like crazy. Like, what are those fucking wobble things that are like toys that I don't know. I start wobbling, dude, like anywhere. I was like going in circles and like back and forth and shit. Like I was so dizzy. Like that's how dizzy I fucking was. Like everything was blurry and like, I don't know, it was kind of cool at first and then it turned into hell. So I like freak out and I realize like shit, I'm like really fucked up, but I didn't think I was too high just yet. I was just like, wow, man, like, you know what I mean? What a crazy night. And I like get off the Charlie Gold video. At this point, like I tried to continue to watch it, but it just wouldn't work. Like it was just blurry. Like I literally could not watch it. So I get on Discord and I join a voice chat, okay? And this was in my server. And there were some people like making fun of me. Like they were like, what the fuck do you mean you can like control your body with your eyes? Like they thought I was just like joking or I don't know, something. And until they realized that I wasn't joking, and one of them tried to help me and shit, but I'll get to that soon. All of a sudden, my head starts boiling. Now, pause this video and go get some alcohol if you're of age, because you're gonna hear the word boil and boiling a lot from this point on. Like, take a shot, get fucked up during the story, because my head was boiling, okay? Like, this was beyond a fever, beyond a sickness, beyond, and I've had, like, bad fevers to the point, like, I wanted to die. This was, like, I felt, I know this doesn't make sense, okay? Don't think I'm a fucking idiot. I know technically it didn't happen, but let me just tell the story, okay? I could feel the blood in my forehead, my head, like boiling. Like, I could start to envision it because it was boiling. I don't know what to tell you. And, it was bad. Like, I remember I touched my forehead and it hurt so bad that, like, I was like, ow. Like, I just burned myself. And, like, for being, like, really high, like, usually you're moving slow. Like, I genuinely, like, fucking ripped my hand away from my forehead, like, very quickly because it hurt. Like, it physically hurt. Like, it was boiling. I cannot express that enough. Like, it wasn't just, like, oh, really bad fever. Like, no. It was like touching a stove, like a hot stove at the hottest fucking temperature, okay? It was bad. And it was to the point where I could start to envision in my head that, like, the front of my forehead was cooked. So I could, like, see. I don't know why. I don't even have a wild imagination, but I did when I was really high. I could see, like, my brain was mostly brain color, like that dark, like, color. And then the front of my forehead was, like, a cooked brain color, like a pink. It was just, like, cooked. And that's how it felt because I could, like, I was starting to envision, like, the blood, like, boiling, like, bubble to bubble. Like, it was hot to the touch. Like, I don't know if, like, when you're high, you can, like, I don't know, trick yourself into thinking, like, oh, this is really cold or hot, but, like, I genuinely felt it, like, burn my hand. So the fact that I couldn't even touch my forehead, like, if you have a bad fever, I don't know about you, but I like to put my hand on my forehead, and, like, I feel it. Like, I couldn't even do that. It was hot, steaming, and I'm in this voice chat, and I'm like, my head, it's boiling. I could cook a fucking egg on it. Like, I start going off. I'm like, you could put a fucking frying pan on my forehead. You could cook a fucking egg. Tell me I won't go get an egg right now. And the only reason I didn't is because I couldn't get it. I physically could not get up. I was so dizzy. The fact that, like, anywhere I would look is where my body would, like, kind of just fucking go to. It was bad enough. Like, I knew I couldn't get up, but I was just saying shit. Like, I was like, I could cook a fucking egg on my head. I could cook fucking sausage and bacon and egg. I could cook a fucking breakfast on my head. Like, I just started saying shit like that. I was like, my forehead. Like, I just could not stop talking about how it was boiling. So this one person in there realizes, guys, this is not a joke, like, she actually is not okay. And at the same time, though, while I was, like, freaking the fuck out, I was, like, giggly. It was weird. Like, I was obviously very stressed out, but I was still giggling at the same time. I was not having fun, but I could not stop giggling sometimes. I don't know, it just kind of happened, but I was not okay. I was not having fun at all. And so this guy tells me to go drink water. Like, apparently if you take too much edibles or something, or you smoke too much, like, you need to go get water because it's all the blood, like, rushing to your head. But I don't know. I was like, okay, fine. So it takes me 30 minutes to get up and get water. I use the shitty, like, McDonald's cup that I got, and I just go to the sink instead of, like, going to the kitchen because the bathroom was, like, the closest to me, and I could not walk to the kitchen for the life of me. So I had to, like, do what I could in the moment. So I get my fucking sink water, and I come back to the room, and I drink it, and it was mixed with a little bit of Sprite that I didn't finish, and it was kind of gross, but I drank it thinking it would, make things better. Now, at this point, I had very, 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 very bad cotton mouth. I was so dry to the point that, like, I would swallow, because, you like to swallow your saliva, like, every like, couple minutes, like, I don't know, like, people just swallow their saliva sometimes. So, I'm trying to swallow here and there, and I couldn't. And it was to the point where I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe out of my nose for some reason. I'm not sure how that happened or why, or if marijuana can do that to you, but I could not breathe out of my nose. I had to breathe out of my mouth where I'm having cotton mouth, and then when I try to swallow, it stops me from breathing completely, but then I can't just continue to breathe while I'm in the process of trying to swallow. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I was, like, struggling to breathe. It was getting really bad, and my heart rate was getting, like, really, really bad. At this point, I had, like, 5 edibles in my system. And then I realized, because I'm an idiot, I ate another. So I actually had 6, and I just forgot that I actually had, like, 4 more, but I thought it was 3 at first. So I had, like, 6 edibles in my system in total. I'm a beginner, and the next day, I'll talk about the next day in a bit, but apparently experts or people that are experienced usually take, like, 60 milligrams or something of an edible, and that's, like, for people that are used to it. And then if you're, like, a beginner, you take, like, 10 milligrams or less, and even 10 milligrams is a good high. Guess how much I had in my fucking body, like, in my system? Just take a wild guess. I had 600 milligrams. Probably a little more since I smoked a lot that day. But, just the edibles alone. 600 milligrams. I'm a beginner. This is my first time. Just let that fucking sink in. And it gets worse. It gets worse. So I decide to drink the water like the person in the voice chat said. And because I can't breathe very well, and I'm drinking it, and my heart is beating really bad, I don't know how this, like, is logical in any way. I was really high, but I thought that I drowned myself from the inside drinking the water. It made it harder to breathe for whatever reason, and I could, like, I don't know how this makes sense, but in the moment, I thought that I could feel the water that I just drowned myself with, like, covering my lungs. I don't know how that makes sense. That's just how I felt. I genuinely thought I just drowned myself. So I'm laying there in defeat. I didn't even have the will to, like, try to breathe anymore. My heart was pumping really, like, fast to the point, like, I could feel it on my chest. It was really hard to breathe. My cotton mouth was as bad as ever. I couldn't swallow, couldn't breathe out of my nose. I had a head that was boiling, which, by the way, the boiling head was the worst fucking part of this. Like, I didn't care that I couldn't breathe. I didn't care that I just thought I drowned myself from the inside. I didn't care how dizzy I was. My head boiling was so bad that I that's all I could focus on. I just would not shut up about my head. It's boiling. It's boiling. That's all I could fucking say that night. But anyways, I'm laying there in defeat. Like, I don't care if I die anymore. Like, I drowned myself from the inside. My head is boiling. You could cook an egg on it. Like, my heart is, like, I'm gonna die. I just ate McDonald's as well as my heart is beating really fast. I'm going to die. Yeah, and I was just kind of laying there. Like, I wish I could articulate it better, like, in more detail, but, like, that's really all there is to it. I was just laying there in defeat. And what's really fucked up about it is I was giggling here and there while I was extremely stressed out in my mind. mind thinking I'm genuinely gonna die. So I'm sitting there like, shit, I'm the first person to die by marijuana, right? Because I started searching on like Google, like people that have died from like smoking or like something like by marijuana. And apparently in Washington state, or like I don't know, the West Coast, like 7, maybe like more people than that like died recently because they smoked. And I don't know much about that. I don't know if there's like it was laced or something, I don't know, but apparently people have died. So I'm like reading about this and I'm like, wait a minute. And then I find an article, which I'm sure if you just take like a quick search you could find the same one that I read that night, where like a really old man, like an elderly guy, like died because he took like an edible, like it was like a lollipop or something. And or did he die? I don't even remember. Or maybe he just suffered a heart, I don't know. He could have died, could have not, I don't remember. But he like had a heart attack because of it. And there's like evidence that like marijuana can make your heart rate beat really, really, really fast. So I'm like, wait a minute. I've always heard my entire life that like marijuana has never killed a single person, okay? And like I'm sitting there reading this stuff and I'm like, I'm going to die. I just drowned myself from the inside. Like I just started listing all these things. These people just died recently doing the same shit that I just did. I'm going to die. I'm going to, like, that's just all I could think about. I'm like, I'm dead. And people in the voice chat didn't believe me. They're like, oh, Ash, I've had 900 milligrams. Like, you're fine. I'm like, no, I'm going to die. I'm game over. But I was still giggly, so they wouldn't take me seriously. I'm like, dude, like, I can't breathe. Like, I started listing all these things. My heart's, like, I'm the first person to die by marijuana. So I asked him to fucking record, which, by the way, it didn't pick up my voice for whatever reason. Fuck OBS. But, I wanted my last words to be towards a YouTuber. Guess what fucking YouTuber was? Dylan is chillin'. Chills. Top 15. Burger King foot lettuce guy. And I state this, or it was something, it was very dramatic. It went on for 20 or maybe 30 minutes, okay? It went on for a while. But, you know, just to sum it up for the story time, I'm like, chills, Dylan, listen, I'm the first person that's gonna die by marijuana. And if anyone's gonna report a video like top 15 people that have died by marijuana, it better be you covering me, because oh god, because you're so hot, Dylan, and I like you. I had a crush on him. Hi. It just developed. And I'm like, Dylan, this is not a conspiracy theory. Am I a time traveler that traveled back in time to like let you know that I'm the first person to die so that you could report it and then also have a video about evidence of time traveling? No. Am I a person that had predicted this? Am I a psychic and I'm just like being the guinea pig and I'm sacrificing myself to like, I don't know, for scientific purposes because I'm the first to die by marijuana? No, this is not a conspiracy, Dylan. This is real life. I am the first person to die by marijuana. And that's what I said. So I'm yabbing about Dylan is chillin' for like 30 minutes, okay? And I've said my final words. I've flirted with Dylan. I don't know. I said everything that I need to say and I lay down in defeat. And that's it. Guess what? I crashed. I don't even remember falling asleep. I just remember I laid there knowing that I would not wake up. So I wake up and I walk out. It's like really early for some reason. I usually oversleep, so that was weird for me. And there's like the people that live there, like this landlord that like made coffee or something. And I walk out and she offers me a cup of coffee and I'm like, sure. And I tell her it was really awkward. She like looked at me with concern because she could tell I looked fucked up. And I go, I've never like oh god. I'm like, I've never like done this before and I really could use some advice. And I just kind of tell her what happened briefly. And she was like, oh no, like you thought you were gonna like be the first person to die by marijuana. And then I was like, wait a minute. And so, like, she knew that because apparently people that take too much edibles, like, they always think they're the first one to die. I didn't know that. But I thought it was because I was being too loud in the room and she was sleeping, like, in a room across from me. And I was like, shit, she heard me saying I was gonna die. So I, like, apologized. Like, I started apologizing if I was too loud and all this. And it was, like, confusing her. And I don't know, it was weird. But anyways, she, like, comforts me and gives me a cigarette. I hate cigarettes. I hate nicotine. It's something I would never do, but I smoked half of it because I was desperate at this point to just feel better. Like I just wanted, I just felt so shitty, and I'm drinking my cup of coffee or whatever, and we're just like chatting, and she's just giving me advice, like, yeah, like, you know, it can happen, blah blah blah. And this house is like full of fucking stoners, so they know what they're fucking talking about. Okay, I don't live there, I'm always sober, so like I just didn't know. And yeah, she's just kind of like guiding me, being nice to me, and that's pretty much it. And I told myself I would never, ever, ever take an edible again. And she tells me, well, don't let that, ruin your experience. Like, marijuana is like a good thing. Like, you can get like a nice high. And I was like, nope, I am never, never, ever taking, I don't even care if it's like 10 milligrams. Never, ever taking that again. It is like, I'm aware if I had taken a normal dose for a beginner, it would have been enjoyable. However, it was such a horrible experience that even holding the edibles, like even just holding what was left, like I took one out of the package because I wanted to like take an edible, like and play Minecraft entitled like playing edibles. Wait, playing edibles? What am I I'm sorry, it's like 9 a.m. Playing Minecraft on edibles, and like even holding the edible itself like gave me really bad anxiety. Like my hands started shaking. Like I refuse. I will be sober till the day I die. It genuinely was like so scary. Like it just gave me really bad anxiety. So yeah, like I listen to all the people that are gonna comment. I am aware that if I had taken a beginner dose, that it would have been fine, and that I shouldn't let my stupidity ruin my experiences. However, that is just not the case. I am going to allow that really, 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 really bad trip to ruin my experiences with edibles. I don't care what anyone has to say. I do not want to take one ever again. Ever. Like, it was just horrible. Like, could you imagine just laying there for 2 hours, not being able to breathe, your mouth is dry as fuck, your head's boiling, you think part of your brain got cooked because it's so fucking hot, like, all of the shit's happening, your heart rate is beating really fucking fast, like, you think you're gonna die, like, you drown yourself from the inside, like, for hours, you're just laying there in defeat, like, come on, do you blame me for never wanting to take an edible again? I genuinely do not want to. So, with that being said, I really do hope you enjoy this story time. I don't know what I'm going to title it. Maybe like the worst night of my life or something. I did want to title like my Tinder date gone wrong, but this is more about me and less of the date. He did not know that had he dropped me off that I would be locked out for an hour and a half. So yeah. But anyways, that's it for today's story time. I don't think I'll be doing any more because I don't really have other stories to tell. But yeah, leave a like if you did enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.